AA from an Atheist's Perspective by Ash J. When entering AA for the first time at a very young age, I had yet to begin contemplating the meaning of existence, much less any particular conceptualization of God. It wasn't until I entered a Christian college that the challenge began. I'm a skeptic by nature, so I questioned everything. Searching for answers, I sought out primary resources, accepting secondary and other resources when necessary. Eventually, all my beliefs held about God and Christianity in general were turned upside down. Thus began my existential angst. It became tough for me to make sense of anything, most especially why I exist or whether or not a celestial being reigns over the universe. It was the beginning of a very dark, nihilistic time of my life. Angst eventually led to increased drinking, leading me down many dark roads of both a philosophical and physical nature. As my drinking became problematic, I found myself in and out of AA rooms. Researching the program as I do most things, the God concept became very hard to swallow. I still experience adversity as well as acceptance from those in the rooms due to my beliefs or lack thereof, and struggle with the God concept. When attending meetings, it's impossible to avoid the subject of God, the capital G gender-specific deity, as God is an intricate part of the 12 steps and 12 traditions. To anyone who thinks it through, it's obvious that early AA was referring to a particular deity of a particular religion, Christianity. With the Oxford group, and before them the Washingtonians' influence on AA, this is no surprise. One can also read in the pamphlet, The Co-Founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, Dr. Bob's explanation of how the good book, Bible, especially the Sermon on the Mount, 1 Corinthians 13, and the book of James influenced the program. Learning these facts, and much more as I studied the details of the program, it became tough for me to separate AA from Christianity. Even though AA is not affiliated with any sect or denomination, it is clearly influenced by and shares certain tenets of Christianity. The ultimate question for me became, as an atheist, non-believer, how am I to reconcile my attendance at meetings with the theism of AA? I believe when people hear the term atheist, especially in the Bible Belt, they automatically assume that the person claiming atheism is taking an active step in denying the existence of God. This is far from the truth. Just as there exist numerous schools of thought within theistic circles, there exist many schools of thought within atheist circles. Atheism, by definition, simply means without God, nothing less, nothing more. Similar to theism, there exist dogmatic, strong atheists and weak atheists who fall more into the category of agnostic atheist. Strong atheists take a more dogmatic stance, providing proof as to why they believe God doesn't exist. Agnosticism deals with knowledge alone, not whether one believes or doesn't believe. There are also agnostic theists. An agnostic theist believes in the existence of God, but regards the basis of this proposition as unknown or inherently unknowable. I consider myself an agnostic atheist. While I am without a belief in God, I don't take my lack of belief to the next step by fully denying the existence of God. I believe that if God exists, humans have not cornered the market on what God is, nor is such a God comprehensible. In fact, I see my position as an ultimate act of faith. My not having a belief in God does not imply the non-existence of a God. It's possible a God or gods might exist. Applying human characteristics, anthropomorphization, to what I believe God might be is limited by my finite understanding as a human. It seems very self-righteous to think I can pinpoint the exact characteristics of something beyond nature, supernatural, when all understanding and all knowledge I have gained is based in the natural world, and from the fact I'm human and thus limited by this fact. In other words, I have never experienced not being human, and therefore find it impossible to characterize something that is not human or greater than human. As my journey in AA continued, it was inevitable that I seek other like-minded individuals or groups. It was then I discovered agnostic AA groups throughout the country and on Facebook. Though no meetings exist in my area, I reached out by contacting the intergroup office in Texas. To my surprise, an individual from the area responded, and we have since maintained a relationship. He has played a major role in helping me come to certain terms with AA philosophy through the lens of a non-believer. It is still very hard for me to comprehend thousands of individuals in AA having their own conceptualization of God. For me, such logic leads to two conclusions. One, we live in a polytheistic world where everyone has their own God. Or two, God as we understand him is a manifestation of our own mind, which, coupled with the group, is depended on to stay sober. Over the years, I've seen numerous people give all the glory to God for their sobriety, only to later resume drinking. Some, including my father, succumb to alcoholism despite their beliefs. Such experiences make it tough for me to see belief in God as requisite to maintaining sobriety. I've come to the conclusion that I have to depend on myself along with the help of the group to stay sober. Unfortunately, sharing my struggles with the God concept during meetings caused some to roll their eyes and others to share legitimately about how they overcame their struggle with a belief in God, referring to Chapter 2 The Agnostic. I've also met non-believers who've struggled as I have, who eventually learned how to reconcile their lack of belief with the program. Over time, I've been exposed to numerous perspectives on how to apply AA to my life as a non-believer. It wasn't too long after I began researching the program that I discovered Jim Burwell, otherwise known as Jim B., an atheist pioneer of AA. It is because of Jim that God as we understand him is included in the 12 steps, as well as the third tradition. He explained in the May 1968 edition of The Grapevine how he began opposing everything Bill W. and the others preached, especially religion, aka the God bit. It's rumored that others prayed about what to do with him. Unfortunately, we never hear about Jim anymore. Most people in AA, old-timers included, have no clue who I'm talking about when asked. Jim's story, titled The Vicious Cycle in the Big Book, has greatly influenced my journey in AA as an atheist. Thank God for Jim Burwell. Despite the aforementioned struggles as an atheist in AA, I have come to reconcile my non-belief with the theistic tenets put forth by the 12 steps and 12 traditions. The third tradition, on which I base my entire foundation, clearly states that the only requirement for membership is a desire to stay sober. What I believe or don't believe is not a prerequisite. In Tradition 1, page 129 of the 12 and 12, it's stated that no AA can compel another to do anything. Nobody can be punished or expelled. Our 12 steps to recovery are suggestions. The 12 traditions, which guarantee AA's unity, contain not a single don't. They repeatedly say, we ought, but never, you must. In one of my favorite readings from As Bill Sees It, page 50, Bill describes AA as a benign anarchy. AA is a bottom-up organization. There are no governors, no one individual to tell you what or how to believe. It is for this very reason I believe AA still exists today. Most important is that AAs recognize each other's individuality. Despite our differences, we are all here for the primary purpose of staying sober. For this, I am grateful for Alcoholics Anonymous. About the author, Ash J. Ash J. currently resides in Elk City, Oklahoma. He loves to cycle, attend spin class, and run a lot. When not doing these things or working, he loves to read and contemplate. To read the original print version of this article, simply go to the website aabeyondbelief.org and search for AA from an Atheist's Perspective, dated June 18, 2017. For more stories, articles, and podcasts, please visit our YouTube or SoundCloud channels. Just search for AA Beyond Belief.